Check out, like, this fancy view that this fancy apartment complex has of the KFC and the gas station.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful view going on up here. Welcome, everyone, to Wisconsin. There was nobody here to visit. This was just a stop on the way to my cousin's that I thought was going to be a pretty short, interesting little gimmicky house on a rock. But it turned out to be so much more. And it had all started just driving into the joint, seeing these giant vases with dragons all over them. The house on the rock is indeed what it's called, and here's another one of those vases with the dragons on it I'd been driving by, except now you get a good look at it. I didn't know what to expect at first. I thought, again, that it was just going to be a house with gimmicky rooms or something. The first thing you encounter here is a very long walkway. It seems to go on forever. It looks like it came straight out of Japan if you're looking at the building from the outside. If you look over here, you'll see it twists and turns all throughout this place. You keep coming back to this walkway. Once inside, you pay for a ticket, and you head down a hallway with a bunch of strange things that are interesting to look at. I have no idea what these are, but check out this boat. This boat is intricate. More intricate than any wooden thing I've ever seen in my life. Just look at the detail on this thing, especially the sail. Then you come to the house part of the house on the rock. True to form, it is in fact a house on a mountainside. And this is what I was expecting when I got here. A house kind of just made out of the mountain. And I did get that, to some level. But what's that? Do you hear that? Creeping in? No, your eyes were not deceiving you. You just saw an entire symphony playing itself mechanically. All of those instruments were real, and they were really playing. Get used to that, because that's going to happen a lot more. I found myself at a very happy Buddha. Rubbing his belly was apparently good luck, so I gave it a little scratch. Once again, we find ourselves in a liminal space, this one a lot more peaceful than the others we've seen. I told you, this pathway just goes forever. A second section of house later, we end up in the Infinity Room, but before we can address the room that looks like it goes on forever, we have to address the music playing itself in the wall. So the Infinity Room was the first thing that wasn't just a house on the rock. It was a platform that led out into nothingness, but looked like it went forever. That was, of course, just an optical illusion, but what wasn't an optical illusion was that the place was really bouncy and hanging over nothingness, and as you can see by this picture, it didn't feel safe and it didn't look safe. The house continued beyond there to yet another automated symphony of sorts, but this one wasn't working at the time. So here's just some footage of me exploring said house on the rock and all of the weird things inside. Welcome back to the Liminal Walkway. That was the end of what I would call the house on the rock, but it was by far not the end of my journey through this magical space. We had seen a house on a rock, but we were, by my estimates, only about 1/10 done with what I had recorded. Here's where it gets magical. Well, okay, not quite yet, but soon. First, we end up out of the Liminal Walkway into this cool area with like a water wheel over here that leads to the next section of the... what would you call it, a museum? I don't know what this technically counts as, but it's definitely not just some house on some rock. This place was already magical. I love looking at weird stuff like this, and this is all there was. Tons of weird stuff. Like whatever this thing is. And if you thought we saw a lot of guns at the Ford Museum, get a load of this!
Holy shit.
Right next to the weird guns corridor was the armor room. I couldn't go down into it, so I didn't get a good look at them, but they looked pretty cool, and they were right next to this creepy stuff. And right past the creepy stuff, I got a glimpse into the women's bathroom, and it was this. I don't know what's going on in there, but that was there. I'm fairly certain that thing is where the music was coming from earlier, also right next to Creepy Doll Room. What the hell? I'd like to lock Arklon in there. I'm sure things would not go poorly for him at all. Well, we're almost there, where things get magical.
For you see, underneath the House of Rock is the streets of yesterday, and this finger leads straight to it.
So the streets of yesterday, that's not just a figure of speech. The things that I saw past this room were only the start of my mind being blown by the true nature of the House on the Rock. Past the room we had just been in literally led to an underground utopia of the forgotten past. I told people as it was happening those exact words. They're the only way I can describe what was down here. An underground utopia of the forgotten past. Each of these buildings under here was an entire building full of things.
Allow me now to take you back to the past. Imagine you need a toy for your son or daughter. You'd go to the toy maker, of course. He's got all the dolls ready to go. And for your boys, he's got all of these wonderful toys as well. Has there been a fire? You better get the attention of the firemen. Only they can put it out. Or maybe it's time to get that beard trimmed or your hair cut. Well, of course, then you'll be heading off to the barber's, won't you? Is your clock broken? Well, only the clockmaker knows how those work, so go to him and maybe you can get a new one, or the one you have fixed. Don't cause any trouble in this town or you'll end up in the sheriff in jail. Are you feeling ill, my friend? Well, the apothecary has plenty of ointments and tinctures for every possible disease and ailment you could have.
Alright, that's enough old-timey voice before everybody hates me, but this place is huge. This alley, I'm only halfway through it so far. How about a woodworker? Some fancy china stuff. Some more fancy china stuff. This guy. A lamp shop. Complete with another one of those women. There's a lot of these. An auto repair shop. Fancy eggs. A taxidermist window that just has a bunch of frogs. Reminds me of home, to be honest. The inside of a random house. But it all came to a grand finale when you get to this ferry. That's right, you guessed it. It's another musical ensemble that plays itself. And that, my friends, is an underground utopia of the forgotten past. The House on the Rock was amazing. I couldn't believe all the stuff that was... just kidding. We're not even halfway done, dude. This is about where I stopped recording a lot of video because I just gave up. I just started taking tons of pictures because we're only a third of the way through all of this shit, okay? A third. You thought we were done? It's time to go to the heritage of the sea, where things get huge. I mean, huge. Just kidding. It's just a room with a bunch of little model ships. Look at this little guy making another littler modeler ship. I don't know why I decided to hype you up over this. It was just, I mean, they're cool. They were really detailed ships in here. Check out this one right here. Super awesome looking. But it's just ships. Of course it's nautical stuff with a name like that. There's nothing huge in this room. Just a bunch of tiny little ships on the walls. And I'm sure, I mean, sure, there was a lot of them and oh my god, what is this? Yep, that's right. A 3-story tall fucking Moby Dick versus giant octopus battle going on in here. No, I wasn't kidding. I literally gave up on recording as soon as I saw this, because I knew I just wasn't going to be able to. Almost everything I did from here was pictures. How would I ever record this? It would take the rest of my life. Somehow, a house on a rock had just opened up into an underground alleyway of the forgotten past that opened up into 3 stories of more stuff? This was getting ridiculous. So in case you were wondering, after a little bit more random junk here on the bottom, the 3 entire stories going up around Moby Dick was constant model ship after model ship after model ship after nautical thing all over the walls, leading up to the Titanic here, and a few more things going on further up that was blocked off, over to the side of Moby Dick itself, which is right over here. Beautiful. Moby Dick led into a side room with a carriage in it that looked like it came from a Disney movie, but how could anything possibly outdo a 3-story tall Moby Dick and impress me now? Well, how about a 3-story tall underground city? You thought an underground alleyway was enough? No. We have an entire underground city with the sounds of 50s emanating from it. So we went from ancient times to Moby Dick to 50s stuff. Once again, the entirety of the walls were just covered in like old-timey memorabilia and weird dolls and stuff like that, leading down into literally more city. More buildings and all sorts of stuff. I would have sworn we were underground by now. How did they even get these cars in here? Going down a whole bunch of ramps, we reach ground level where the city is. I'm not joking, there's buildings everywhere here. This one was a camera shop. You go through the 50s city and see a bunch of weird fucking Alice in Wonderland shit, and then it leads to this 50s diner, which I assume earlier in the day they probably actually served food at, but they didn't at this time. Although I did notice they have my sponsor. Oh, sorry, did you think we were done with the underground city? No. We gotta go to the music lands now. Hark! Over yonder! What is this under the woman light? Is this more musical instruments that play themselves? You're damn straight it is. I told you you'd be seeing a lot of this, and what I meant by a lot was like, there's 12 of them. There's 12 of these! Some of them, sadly, weren't working, either because they have to, like, recharge their air pipes or something, or just, I don't know. But have you noticed how many of these are bigger than your fucking house each? Jesus Christ! This one sucks, but you get to listen to it. Oh look, here's another one. The size of a giant wall, right after the other one. And here's my one regret. They give you $1 worth of coins to put in these machines to make them do stuff. This was my favorite looking room. I was holding on to 2 coins and I didn't want to use them until I'd seen everything, and I should have come back and played it, but I didn't. Fresh out of Music Land, I ended up in this tiny room with a bunch of model airplanes hanging from the ceiling. I don't know what this room was really about. It kind of felt out of place even in this world full of weird shit. It was just kind of here. And I didn't have anywhere else to go, so I had to backtrack a little bit. But that backtrack led me to the most magical room. No, seriously, I kind of just have to let this play so you can experience it for yourself like I did. That's right. I came to a house on a rock expecting a house on a rock, and got a house on a rock above a secret alleyway of the Forgotten Past right next to a giant 3-story Moby Dick, right next to an underground city, right next to literally the world's largest carousel. This was apparently used in American Gods recently. And this is where the house on the rock actually ends. You've seen it all. At least what I've shown you.
It's official. This is the most magical place I've ever been in my life.
And after that magical experience, we return to the liminal pathway, which has one little area left to go to. It leads to this kind of Japanesey garden area, which was really pretty and peaceful, and I liked it. And just past here is the gift shop. So to the gift shop I went. I bought myself a mini one of those vases with the dragons on it because holy shit. Then it was past the spitting dragon and down one more liminal path. And it was over. The most magical place that I've ever seen in my life. The Magnet Betrayal. I have to tell you all about the Magnet Betrayal. I am here at my cousin's house. Well, it's an apartment. It'll be a house next week when I'm not here. This guy is my cousin.
Hi.
You once knew him as, quote-unquote, the
scientist.
He's not the scientist anymore. He's now the fake doctor, apparently. Plays video games all day and gets paid bank for it. Anyway. I have to tell you about 2 betrayals this night. I have to tell you about 2 betrayals this night, and I'm not going to be able to do it seriously this time. This is my cousin. you may have seen it. I'm gonna start with my betrayal. I did a whole fucking segment just now, and the camera stopped recording because I touched the screen or something. So now I have to do it again and tell you about the Magnet Betrayal. This is my cousin. You once knew him as the scientist, which is where the last one fucking cut off. I'm watching you now, camera. You're recording. This guy once came to my house and said he had a huge magnet collection. A huge one. And I was going to give him some magnets. I was like, here's 3 magnets to add to your collection. And someday I was going to come and see it. Because the secret is that he never was going to reach into the mystery box because I had already given him a prototype of the Mario. There is only one of these in existence on every other mascot except this one. There's 4 of these, and he got one of the prototype ones. There was still one in the box though. Because this guy's not really related to the Wheel of Crap or anything, he's just my cousin. But that's where the betrayal comes in. I was led to believe that he had 1 million magnets on his fridge, and I was going to be like, oh, look at all these cool magnets. You want to see his cool magnet collection? There's like 8 of them. That's it. That's all he's got. And I gave him that, and that, and that. So I'm like 50% of his magnet collection. My battery's about to die, so I'm not gonna do this a 3rd time. But yeah, what the hell, bro? What do you have to say for yourself? Is it still high?
Don't you feel special?
Oh yeah, you did say that last time.
I did say that.
Thanks for sticking to the script. I guess. So turns out, after believing the Magnet Betrayal all this time, that he had this huge magnet collection waiting for me, I had 72 magnets this whole time. My magnet collection completely dwarfed his. All he had was Charmander, Frog, a Mushroom, Miami Beach, New Orleans, and the 3 I gave him, including Mario. What the F? I can't believe this magnet betrayal and this camera betrayal for making me do this again. But at least you got to see me laugh. That doesn't happen very often. Hi!
Hi!
You know, it wasn't recording this time either.
Are you serious?
No.
Okay.
Okay, I just learned some crazy lore, alright? We were in discussion of other things I'm not getting into, but it led to the knowledge that there is another bathroom that somebody might run into on the 13th floor, and then I realized, wait, there's a 13th floor? So I'm like, well, the first thing I was noticing was like, okay, I'm just gonna imagine that this floor is nothing but a bathroom. You get off the elevator, and it's just like nothing. It's just an expanse and one toilet or something. But then I was like, 13th floor? There's not supposed to be a 13th floor. What happened? Isn't that like super bad luck? And it's right next to a hospital?
Yeah.
Is that the one they rent out?
Actually, this is the original Mayo Clinic right here. Right across the street.
Right, but
that is like, that's been here since the beginning, like 1800s.
1800s, jeez.
Yes. Uh-huh.
But is the 13th floor the one they rent out to people?
No, it's not actually. No, people live there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
There's a 13th
So there's a 13 in that elevator. I'm gonna have to look at that. I'm gonna have to record it. There's a 13th floor on this building. What? And it's haunted by a toilet that anyone can use.
This building was built like a year ago.
This building was built a year ago,
yet-
and they have a
Yes,
13th floor.
And they have a 13th floor.
What the hell?
Yeah.
I guess they're just finally over that stigma. They're like, 13.
Or they just accepted that part of their building is going to be cursed.
It's just going to collapse at some point. Someone's going to go
Basically, yeah.
running down there to use that toilet, and in the middle of pooping, the 13th floor will just sandwich them and be gone.
Basically. Careful.
I zoomed in. Be careful. I'm not going to the 13th floor to poop. That's a death sentence. Alright guys, I need you to see this, alright? I was doing laundry. Here's the laundry. Alright, we've got Whirlpool. Pretty fancy stuff. We got Whirlpool. Same exact fancy stuff, right? Right? Okay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Nope. Why? Why have they done this? What is this nonsense? I've recorded almost nothing other than magnets and dryers here, but that's not important. This is my cousin. You've already met him once, but I do need him because it's time for this. It's time for the map.
Oh, shoot.
Yes, I have to scratch off the map. You can hold this. Hold that, point it. Make sure it's still recording because we've had that problem already.
It's recording.
Good. All right. Time to watch me very slowly scratch off 2 states because this takes forever. Just point it at those. Watch it happen. Watch the magic happen.
Oh, whoops.
What?
I was pointing at the sink. I'm sorry.
The whole time?
I don't think it was the whole time, but...
Good job. That's fine. If it sucked, I can just start it here. Don't be weird about it.
Hey, you gave me the camera. I can do whatever I want now.
I can't stop you. There we go. Good enough. Wisconsin, everybody. It has cheese. Check out these states over here. I keep pointing them out. Nothing. Literally nothing. There's nothing there. And this one gets half of a building. Anyway, there's Wisconsin. Now it's time for Minnesota, where I visited my cousin. See you in 4 hours.
What color is it going to be?
Want to place a bet?
Just making sure. Well,
Place a bet.
Minnesota Vikings are purple.
You think it's going to be another purple?
Purple.
All right. Looks like you got it.
Yes! It's like...
I don't think it had anything to do with the Vikings, but you did get it.
Where's your Canada scratch off? Because I know you went to Canada.
I don't have one.
Oh. Fail.
Listen, I didn't know this didn't have scratch off in Canada. I figured it did because it said United States, but I didn't know for sure.
Because Canada's in the United States.
Yeah.
Oh.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Of course it is. We're all part of the cum continent.
The what?
Canada, United States, Mexico. Cum.
Great.
Now you're never gonna
Glad to be a part of that.
Yeah, now you're never going to not know that again.
This is true. So, you almost done?
No, keep phoning.
Okay. Of course it is.
You like hockey up here?
I guess they do.
All right, there. Hang on. Let me get all this shit in the trash so I don't leave it all over your goddamn counter. For a second, I thought all of this was scratch off on the table. Here it is, our beautiful map, updated with 2 more states scratched the hell off. Tomorrow I go here, or actually I think the first one might still be in Minnesota, but then we go to North Dakota and fuck that shit up.
Wait, you're going to Fargo?
So we've got cheese and we've got hockey boy. Eat it, Canada. I didn't need to scratch Canada off because we had Hockey Boy right here. But yes, North Dakota is our next probable stop. I'm pleased with how much of this map is getting scratched off. I'm not pleased that Nebraska has taken some damage. I'm not sure for what from.
Well, it'll be scratched off soon.
Maybe. I think I have a stop there. Anyway, that was the map, everybody. So, I'll be saying goodbye to this boy.
Hi. Bye.
Yeah, it's a bye. we did absolutely nothing at all that I recorded, so deal with it, nerds.
We just hung out.
Yeah, we hung out, and even though he has a magnet, he already had it. It was not one of the ones in the box, so deal. He didn't get to reach into the box.
Next time I'll have one more magnet.
One more magnet.
Yes.
We're gonna like. No, you got to get at least. There's 8 there. You got to get at least 2 to have a 25% increase in magnets.
Yes.
Get at least 2.
Do you have another magnet I could have?
No, you already got one, and I told you, you're not reaching in the box of what's probably like 60 remaining magnets.
Oh. 60? Wait, there's 60. I can't have one?
No, you already have one. You have the Mario. It's right there.
But can I have 2?
No. All right, anyway, I'm going to see you probably a lot more than I've seen you anywhere else with Scorn and Arklon, because I'm going to absolutely make his life a living hell, as you would expect I would. See you in Vegas Stakes, everybody. And that's basically the end of my short visit with my cousin. He did take me out to eat on the next day I was there, where I got to see the legendary hot steamed towel, as well as the legendary corn drop. Why not? I don't have my good camera, but, you know, I saw it. I've seen the corn.
You've seen the corn.
And also, this picture of Jack Sparrow is his girlfriend. Those are the same person. Her cosplay is on another level. And finally, before heading off to the rest of this video, here's his cat. Why are you on my stuff?
She has to get into everything.
Why are you on my stuff?
There you go.
Roll. Why are you so big?
It's just how she is. Big boned.
Big booted. So after leaving Cousin, but before Scorn, I went to the Mall of America. I was told it was just going to be a big mall and not that super interesting, but I wanted to go there anyway. And it was, in fact, quite large. First thing I saw going in was this weird robot battle thing going on, which was kind of cool. And yes, it was very big. Ridiculously big. So big, in fact, that it had its own theme park, and a Ferris wheel, and everything. This theme park alone was bigger than most malls I'd been in. The first thing I wanted to see was on the other side of the theme park, so I had to walk through it. And it took a while. Like, really? A theme park? Here's the one thing I definitely wanted to see. The Lego building, which had a whole bunch of huge Lego things on top of it, and I was told it was pretty cool and worth seeing, so here we are, we're seeing it. And sure enough, this was the only visually impressive thing in this mall, I think. But it was worth the stop just to take a look at. Here's another shot of the theme park from the 3rd story, I believe. Also, sponsor. Well, at least I'll never get lost. I'll just look for the theme park. After that, I went exploring, as you do. It is a mall, after all. I wanted to look around and see what I could find. Oh, hey, look, Bubba Gump. Past Bubba Gump was a rainforest cafe where I have never been, and will continue to have never been. I didn't go in. No mall, even the largest, is complete without a pathetically small arcade. So of course I had to go in there. It was actually bigger than I expected, but coming off of Galloping Ghosts, nothing is ever going to impress me again. And most of the games were kinda dumb. But it was there, and it was worth looking at. This is video game content after all.
It had Bear in the Big Blue Boat, for some reason. After that, I continued exploring. Here's another shot of just how big this mall is. It's like 4 stories. And another shot of the weird robot stuff going on. Even though it wasn't happening in this area, they had a TV showing it anyway. It was then that I spotted the game shop. Turns out it was board games, which was a mistake. I shouldn't have come in here. This place had, like, everything. I wanted to see if it had specific games, and it had all of them, and I was not getting out of there without having spent $200. Oops! Well, that's all I really came here for, so it was time to escape. I had to get the scorns, so I was gonna make my way out. Only problem was, I was lost. I'd looked around long enough that I couldn't find the amusement park anymore. There were even multiples of some shops, like this Spencer's. I had passed by one on the way in, but that wasn't the same one I passed by. So, where am I? And how do I get the hell out of here? Does this count as a liminal space? I know there's a lot of people, but it's endless shopping, and I can't find the way out. God, where am I? Somebody save me! I've lost the exit! But after about 10 minutes of walking around, I did finally find the amusement park again. You wouldn't think that you'd be able to lose something that big, but this mall is just that huge. There wasn't much video footage of this, but it had been like an hour and a half that I'd been in there, and it was time to leave. God, the house on the rock. What can I even say that I haven't already said? It is super magical. If there's any one place that you're going to go and visit, it's the one I would say. Galloping Ghosts for video games for sure, but if you just wanted to see one interesting thing in the entire United States, this is the one. Out of everything that I saw, this was the most interesting of all of it. There was so much to look at. It was just endless eye candy for miles and miles. Mall of America was cool in its own way. I didn't think a mall could be cool anymore, but I enjoyed it there. There was a lot of cool stuff to see. There was even a Walgreens. Like, you know your mall's too big when it has its own Walgreens. But that was the end of my time in this area of Minnesota. I had to head to the very edge of it to Scorn Shack after this, where we were going to work on a super secret project. But that's a story for another video. See you next time.